Did you know we have completely ad-free early access to all of our episodes? Well, we do. Not only that, but we have dozens of bonus episodes waiting for you. Head on over to patreon.com/ghosttownpod, and you can check it out for 7 days absolutely free. That's patreon.com/ghosttownpod. The Caped Curse. I'm Jason Horton.
I'm Rebecca Lieb.
And this is Ghost Town.
Created in 1938 by artist Bob Kane and writer Bill Finger, Batman has gone through a wide range of redesigns across all kinds of media. And while its high cultural cachet remains, there's a kind of darkness underneath the franchise, one not often talked about, one perhaps tied to the Batsuit itself. As Gavia Baker Whitlaw from the incredible YouTube channel Behind the Seams asks, quote, "Is Batman an action hero? Is he a noir detective? Is he a cartoon character for kids? Or is he a gothic avatar for childhood trauma?" From Adam West's lighthearted spandex to Ben Affleck's bulky armor, the Batsuit tells us a lot about how the character evolved and the filmmakers who chose to reinvent him. And what happens during that reinvention? Well, heavy wears the Batcape, as I like to say. Today on Ghost Town, the curse of the Batsuit. In 1939, DC Comics was on the hunt for a new flashy superhero, a memorable character who could build on the wild success of their earlier comic book hero, Superman. Editor Vin Sullivan turned to cartoonist Bob Kane for answers, an unlikely artist for what DC wanted. Kane was a gag illustrator known for the humor features Ginger Snap in More Fun Comics, Oscar the Gumshoe for Detective Comics, and Professor Doolittle for Adventure Comics. Bob Kane, along with his friend, writer and part-time shoe salesman Bill Finger, would go on to conceive one of the most popular and enduring characters of the 20th century, the Batman. Kane said his influences for the Batman included actor Douglas Fairbanks, who himself has a haunted legacy we've covered on past episodes, and Leonardo da Vinci's diagram of the ornithopter, a flying machine with huge bat-like mechanical wings. According to the comic book's lore, Bruce Wayne designed the Batsuit, quote, "to strike fear into the hearts of criminals," which is why he looks darker and more ominous than other comic book characters, like, say, Superman. Combining drama and practicality, Wayne's original costume included a Batwing cape and a bulletproof vest. On March 30th, 1939, the Batman legacy began with the very first Batman story, quote, "The Case of the Chemical Syndicate," published in Detective Comics number 27. It was a huge success. The first film adaptation of the Batman happened a mere 4 years later, in 1943, when Columbia Pictures made a pretty bad serial of the character. The films didn't quite measure up to the successful hard-boiled 40s noirs of the time like Zorro, another story about a masked caper, or The Maltese Falcon. The superhero costumes of this time, let's be real, into like the 1970s, seemed kind of ridiculous by today's standards. They were modeled after circus acrobats or strongmen, think underwear over tights, and were designed to be simple and fun and branded. You knew the hero as soon as he entered the room. 1940s actors also weren't expected to be as jacked as, say, the actor who accepts a superhero lead today, and stretchy artificial fabrics were a relatively new invention, so it was hard to make a realistic version of what people saw from Batman in the comics. So, Batman, first played by actor Lewis Wilson, battled evil in a dark, ill-fitting, sagging jumpsuit. He was later replaced by another actor for the sequel, Robert Lowery, who later became a bit of a Western star. From 1966 to 1968, Adam West's look in the Batman TV show was deliberately tongue-in-cheek. A kind of leathery theater getup, West wore a mask with expressive eyebrows sewn in, and Robin's outfit literally looks like a spirit Halloween costume. Now, this is when a kind of curse or bad faith around the costume really comes into play. First, according to IMDb, before the series premiered, it received the worst audience test scores in the entire history of ABC. The only reason why it even went on air in the first place was because so much money had already been invested in it. Burt Ward, who played Robin, stated that he was badly injured several times while he starred in the series. He claimed that he was burned out and or struck by shrapnel several times when ill-conceived pyrotechnic effects went wrong. At least once, he was flung out of the Batmobile after his door flew open during a high-speed turn. Shortly after the series began to air in England, several children were hurt while attempting to, quote, fly out of windows trying to be like Batman. An announcement by Adam West was filmed to discourage children from this practice, and he made it absolutely clear that he himself could not fly. Speaking of Adam West, during the show, the actor began having a reputation for being a bit of a self-destructive playboy, one that may have gotten banned from Colorado for having sex with too many women there. According to The Sun, quote, Holy Family viewing Batman, it turns out the Caped Crusaders fetching satin pants spent a lot of time on the floor. Adam West was a sex-mad actor who slept with up to 8 women a night and turned to booze when the show was axed. He and co-star Burt Ward, who played sidekick Robin, also romped with eager groupies in the dressing rooms in between scenes. In fact, West discovered the only limits to his bedroom bat powers were those caused by his famous costume. The actor explained years later, because of the physical limitations of the costume, you gotta have quickies. And he had an awful lot of them, as well as dates with fellow stars, including actress sisters Natalie and Lana Wood and Raquel Welch. Again, a little piece from The Sun about West during that time. Another little disturbing fact for you, decades after the series was canceled, Cesar Romero, who played the Joker, claimed that he had done the Joker's laugh so many times that it had permanently changed his natural laugh. The live-action franchise laid pretty low until 1989, when Tim Burton was tasked to bringing the Caped Crusader back to life. More after this break.
Hi, hello, how are you?
Hello. Hello, hello.
We're checking in.
This is a check-in. You love it.
We want to say hello to anyone who's listening, supporting us, spreading the good word of Ghost Town. Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you.
And those mayors, we love them. You know, they were once superheroes, once upon a time.
They were.
Didn't work out.
Huh.
This first mayor was, I'll get gas the day of instead of the night before person.
Wow, they didn't have a cool name. Okay.
They had this superpower where they were like, it's a good idea to get gas 5 minutes before I have to leave for the thing in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And when it didn't work out, they were like, that's all the villains out to get me. And it's like, no, it's just a bad idea.
God.
Why is getting gas such a I mean, I know those of you with electric cars, maybe you don't have this issue, but those of us that love supporting big oil, we love it. Well, that's our big oil loving mayor, Ashley Matson.
Hello.
This mayor's superhero power was, yeah, I'll try Subway again. It's not as bad as I remembered it. And it's right there, person. And then they get there and then they get it. And they're like, why do I keep doing this to myself?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All the other kind of fast food adjacent establishments are the villain. But Subway is just right here. I mean, it's right in this gas station / convenience store. Why is it making me sick? Why is the bread making me sick? I don't know. But you can ask the superhero Cat Joselle about it.
Hello. Jesus Christ.
These are just my personal woes that I'm just putting out there. This mayor is a superhero. And it's, how come I can't use all of this gift card I got? Why is there still $9.36 on it? And why can't I just spend it? So I have all these gift cards that all these odd small amounts on it. And I'm kind of just stuck with them. And if I put them all together, I have one pretty decent gift card. So now I got all these cards lying around.
A superhero.
Why do I get them and why do I give them?
If there ever was one.
The villains out there were all the establishments being like, you don't have enough on this gift card. You can't use it. They're like, can I combine it with another one? They're like, no. Just give up on the gift card.
Mm-hmm. Buy an expensive thing and use the gift card to contribute to that.
No.
Like the rest of us.
It's just buying little things. That would be a hero amongst heroes, Kelly Meehan.
Hello.
This superhero is I buy a cheap iPhone or phone cord and it really doesn't charge in my car at all, or it gets really hot. It makes my phone really hot because I won't spend the extra, like probably $6 to get a quality phone cord. And then I'm wondering, why is my phone so hot? Why is it not charging? Everybody else is out to get me. Big Apple, big Android, big Samsung. I don't know the other ones. I'm an iPhone snob, so that's maybe part of my problem. I have a lot of problems. But that would be the superhero of bad phone cords, Casey Weber.
Hello.
This superhero power is to trying to find interesting things to say on Venmo messages when they're Venmoing people, trying to say something really clever when you could just say nothing or an emoji, or you can just say like Thai food. But no,
they got to be like
a lot of fun.
Yeah, like
this time, like THI.
They could be like eggplant.
Yeah,
like Saturday evening shenanigans.
Yeah, and that's why mine are all in private. Yeah, mine are all. My biggest nightmare is people seeing my Venmo transactions because it's all just a comedy show. Open mic. Oh yeah, pizza
emojis just back and forth and back and forth. Yeah, that's vulnerable information.
Well, Captain Emoji would be Marissa Rothermel.
Hello.
This mayor's former superpower was too many text groups guy. Just, it's pretty much the same, like 9 people in different groups. Just to have it all one group or just text them separately. It's too many. And then you lose track.
Yeah.
There's just too many text groups.
Who are you responding to? You just can't respond to all of them after 40 texts. It's bad. You don't know who's talking to what or who.
And you're like, wait, what?
After a while, I don't even know. They're like, we already solved this.
Yeah. And you're like, oh,
scroll up.
Wrong group. Well, hopefully they'll figure it out. That's superhero Chris Hernandez.
Hello.
And then our governor, who's like, you think I got any of these problems? My biggest problem is, by accident, I flew in a 2024 private jet. Embarrassing.
So embarrassing. And it's like, wow, I went straight to my lair. My 14 butlers were like, this is embarrassing. And
yeah,
you said,
this is
old.
Ew. It's
bad
like
luck.
Vintage.
Bad luck for a superhero.
You think they have a problem with an iPhone cord? If they have the CEO of Apple in the plane, ready to tend to needs.
Exactly. They have a caddy of cords, and the CEO of Apple is manning them.
Well, that would be our governor,
Avian Noble.
If you want no ads, no chit-chat, bonus episodes, 7 days free, you want to skip through this junk, head on over to patreon.com/ghosttownpod.
Tim Burton thought the dramatic shadows and bat imagery of the character really lent themselves to a German expressionist vibe, think Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, for his new Batman brainchild. So he leaned in, with Michael Keaton as the lead in the first Batman feature film. Batman and Batman Returns in 1992 kicked off the modern era of dark, gritty, adult-oriented superhero movies, blending psychosexual thriller, horror, absurdism, and stylized production design. It showcased the mature side of Bruce Wayne, who quite frankly was in desperate need of therapy. Problems began in casting. Kim Basinger, who was the original choice to play Vicky Vale, ended up being busy, so Sean Young was cast instead. But then Young broke her collarbone rehearsing during a horseback riding scene on the grounds of Wayne Manor and had to drop out of the movie. Basinger received an emergency call just 1 week before filming was set to begin, and she accepted the part. Michelle Pfeiffer, who was actually dating Michael Keaton at the time, was also initially asked to audition for Vicky Vale, but Keaton shut it down, saying it would be awkward. And yet, despite Keaton's protests, Pfeiffer would later be cast alongside him as Catwoman in Batman Returns, after their relationship had ended, and guess what? It was even more awkward. Keaton had more problems than an ex on set, though. The Batman suit was terrifying to him. According to IMDb, Michael Keaton was completely unable to hear or move his head while wearing this fetishy black leather batsuit, which made him panicked and claustrophobic throughout filming. But when all was said and done, both movies were a hit. Though Burton, again, the director, was initially not a big fan. He would say in interviews later, quote, "I like parts of it," referring to Batman, "but the whole movie is mainly boring to me. It's okay, but it was more of a cultural phenomenon than a great movie." In 1995, we got Joel Schumacher's Batman Forever, starring Val Kilmer, with costumes resembling plastic action figures, complete with neon lighting, and of course, the controversial nipples in the suit. In Joel Schumacher's own words, quote, "I wanted a very sexy, a very sensual, very body-hugging suit." But Kilmer was not having it. He would say in the documentary about himself, called Val, quote, "When you're in it, you can barely move and people have to help you stand up and sit down. You also can't hear anything, and after a while, people stop talking to you. It's very isolating. It was a struggle for me to get a performance past the suit, and it was frustrating until I realized that my role in the film was just to show up and stand where I was told to." Not, of course, mincing words, Val Kilmer went on to say, quote, "Whatever boyhood excitement I had was crushed by the reality of the Batsuit. Yes, every boy wants to be Batman. They actually want to be him, not necessarily play him in a movie." 2 years later, Kilmer said no to a second movie, and George Clooney joined Schumacher in 1997's critically panned Batman and Robin. Like Batman Forever's costumes, the Batman costume in Batman and Robin was a 50-pound rubber bodysuit and a 40-pound rubber cape attached to the headpiece. Batgirl's and Robin's costumes each weighed 50 pounds, a huge undertaking to put on and wield. Some people called it an all-time low for the Batman franchise, not just in quality but in reception. George Clooney would say after shooting Wrapped that, quote, "I think we just killed the series," and that it was, quote, "a waste of money." He'd also been known to refund people who saw the film out of his own personal embarrassment. Warner Brothers decided not to rehire Schumacher after Batman and Robin, and the next Batman film stayed in development limbo for 8 years. In 2005, Christopher Nolan was hired to direct Batman Begins, the first of the Dark Knight trilogy. The trilogy also included 2008's The Dark Knight and 2012's The Dark Knight Rises. After the success of Bourne Identity, Batman's costume got a kind of action spy reboot, and based on real-life military technology, had tactical armor and an impossibly insane Batmobile to boot. Christopher Nolan loved the idea of Wayne harnessing his own childhood fear of bats to frighten others, a kind of working through and exploiting his own trauma response and his own twisting of emotions. But the Batsuit still sucked. Reports say that Christian Bale's active dislike of his uncomfortable Batman outfit helped his performance as the Dark Knight because he was perpetually in a bad mood when wearing it, and the headpiece gave him massive headaches. Then came 2016's Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice, directed by Zack Snyder and starring Ben Affleck. Unlike pretty much all the Batmans before him, Affleck actually liked his insanely heavy, chunky batsuit, though parts were made out of cloth this time instead of metal, mercifully. Affleck even asked if he could have the batsuit when filming was complete. The producers said yes, but that he would have to pay $100,000 in order to keep it. Hearing that price point, Affleck quickly changed his mind and asked if he could instead just take a picture in it, which was allowed. The Batman franchise's latest incarnation is 2022's The Batman, directed by Matt Reeves and starring Robert Pattinson. Robert Pattinson revealed while auditioning for the role that he actually wore Val Kilmer's original Batsuit, yes, with the nipples, from Batman Forever, and George Clooney's mask from Batman and Robin. In this Schumacher Batsuit mashup, Pattinson sneakily took a selfie in the Batsuit as a memento, quote, just in case it didn't work out. But of course, it did. Quote, part of the tradition is that when you're playing Batman at Warner Brothers, you don't just do an audition, you do a screen test and they need to see you in a Batsuit, says director Reeves. But they don't make you a Batsuit because that's a very involved process. So what you do is you put on an old Batsuit. You put on one that fits you, which for Pattinson just so happened to be Kilmer's. Reeves continues, quote, you could see Rob transforming immediately. The first thing that you do is you put it on, and then he came out and looked at himself in the mirror, and he just turned to me and said, it's quite transformative. I said, sure is. But don't get it twisted, it was still a Batsuit, with a Batsuit curse. Says Reeves, he started sweating in the suit because it was really warm and so old that when he started heating up, the cowl started kind of getting misshapen. It was also funny. It was crazy. But the costume in the Batman, according to IGN.com, was, quote, the most heavily armed Batsuit to date. But, based on the suits of Pattinson's predecessors and the lore of the Batsuit as a whole, became a breath of fresh air, perhaps even a new direction for this costume controversy, which may or may not continue with the next Batman film, The Batman 2, set for release in 2027.
Did you know we have completely ad-free early access to all of our episodes? Well, we do. Not only that, but we have dozens of bonus episodes waiting for you. Head on over to patreon.com/ghosttownpod, and you can check it out for 7 days absolutely free. That's patreon.com/ghosttownpod.